Aloha and welcome to today's episode of Mystimon Saga Hidden Archives, a tale of horror and mystery powered by Pathfinder 2nd Edition. I am your host, GM Seth. I also go by Seth R. Mitchell, and I have been GMing TTRPGs for more than 20 years. And I am the writer and creator of Mystimon Saga. Mystimon Saga is a universe of epic battles of mystical creatures with magical powers and the drama of individuals and nations. And Hidden Archives follows an enigmatic group of investigators as they battle an evil cult and investigate the paranormal and high strangeness all over the world. If you want to learn more about Mystimon Saga, please visit the link in the description below. I am joined by our players today, Jackie, Binary,
Hello.
Bippy,
Greetings.
and L.
Hello.
So, everyone leveled up to 10th level today.
You sure did.
Yeah.
After forgetting to do it for like 2 weeks.
Oops.
Listen.
So, when we last left our investigators, you were just leaving Hilltop Valley when your friend Gareth the Magnificent received a scroll post. And this scroll post was carrying just one thing. It was carrying a photograph. It was a grisly photograph. You still have it today. It was very grisly. I'm not going to describe it in full because it's very graphic. But it showed the body of a woman who has been murdered in a temple. The Temple of the Gods in Calrune. And on the bottom was written, "Are you ready to dance with the devil again?" You came back to Fox Hollow Ranch with Crystal, and Crystal gave you a little bit of a backstory. A few years ago, in the summer of 2741, as the World Fair was shaping up to be one of the biggest events in the world in recent memory, a series of grisly and bloody murders shook the community of Calrune. For these murders were not your ordinary murders, which the Magi Guard deal with all the time. These murders, which they tried very hard to keep out of the press, so as to not overshadow the World Fair, and not panic the people, also had the skin flayed off their bodies and put on sick displays all over the city. Crystal brought in a group of investigators who worked as agents with the Magi Guard and also security for the World Fair, while secretly investigating these murders. Those investigators traced the murders to a hotel, the Dreaming Palace Hotel, and from there, they followed the evidence all the way to Agrabah, in a mansion in that region. However, as that case went cold, as those investigators were chased out of that mansion, or rumor has it they turned up dead. And even as the murders stopped suddenly in Calrune, Crystal could not shake the feeling that there was more to this story. Especially with that mansion in Agrabah. But for years, she's tried to send others. No one would go. Perhaps hearing of what happened to the last group sent there. For the last few years, she's been continuing to investigate these flaying murders in Calrune on her spare time. But the Magi Guard have stopped talking to her about it. They continue to believe that the case is closed. They have their guy in custody. The man caught in Dreaming Palace Hotel back in 2741. Crystal believes that they just don't want it to get out that they had adventurers of the Wayfinder Society do their job for them. And they actually sabotage the investigation at every turn. Perhaps to save their own asses. What else do you expect from the Magi Guard? She continues to believe there is much more to this story. The Magi Guard even ignored the occultic connections in the case. And the official story they put out was the murderer they caught was a madman working alone. But she believes something is not right about that story. The man in custody is too short and too scrawny to have done the displays at each of the crime scenes. But the murders stopped, so she couldn't prove her theory. That there are accomplices in each of the murders. But all of that ends now, for there has been another murder. And now, the killer is calling you out. She explained to you that she believes that Zolgoth has something to do with it. The reason she believes that Zolgoth has something to do with it is he has committed similar murders in the past. And he's taking credit for it. She warns you to be very careful because this is all a game to him. She also warns you that the Magi Guard are going to fight you on every step of the way. She tells you treat the Magi Guard as hostile witnesses and antagonists. So, that was 3 days ago. She told you that she was going to get in contact with a contact of hers. And you haven't heard from her in 3 days. But suddenly, she shows up again. It is now Breeze Day. It is the 40th of Coryphus of 2743. She shows up, and you notice right away that there is a look of sadness on her face. And she explains, some time ago, a strange Izmir rat folk came to join the Hidden Archives by the name of Madameo. Some of you may remember him. And he took up an investigation into the high strangeness of this ranch, and in so doing, he was there when you all encountered a strange time rift, according to him, that led them to the past. Again, according to him. The story he tells is that he ended up somehow in the past when the Immortals once owned this ranch and conducted their own investigations. And they eventually met up with, again, from his claims, with a woman by the name of Laurie Torwind before she whisked them back to the present. But every note that Madame Mayo had taken, every piece of evidence he had, vanished. Again, according to him. I'm not sure I believe any of this. But I tell you this, and she kind of sighs and says, "Follow me." And she leads you upstairs to a room that has been locked up since before you had gotten here. Since before some of you have gotten here. And as she unlocks the door, you see these strings kind of strung up from one end of the room to the other. In this wild web map, it kind of looks like. It's like a web of all these strings of different colors strung from the left side of the room to the right side of the room, from the front side of the room where you are to the back side of the room. They're all over the place. And there's pictures and documents and letters posted all over all of the walls. And she explains that Madame Mayo got sucked into investigating Laurie Torwind. And apparently he found one coincidence after another. He found one synchronicity, as he called it, after another. He just fell down this rabbit hole following all these threads that opened up by each of these coincidences, and ended up with a dead end after dead end after dead end. And, well, as you can see, he eventually went mad. And he had to be admitted into Darkon Sanatorium. Today, and the reason this has come up, I just received word that Madame Mayo has committed suicide. By the end, he was shouting things like everything is all connected, every case, every haunting, every cryptid, every mission undertaken by the tribunal, and on and on. And he seemed to come to the belief that everything in the tribunal did was connected to stuff done by the Sechi Legion back in Kyrene's day. And that was all connected to some single point back in the Second Age. I don't know. I stopped listening after the third or fourth meeting he called with me. Then he was talking about other dimensions and other not other planes like the abyss or the undergrave or the void, even like alternate realities. point at which he had to be admitted he was literally babbling some nonsense that no one could make sense of. They tell me that his room at the sanatorium looks a lot like this, but with strange hieroglyphic symbols no one's ever seen before. If you ever want to see it, they said they'd keep it in its current condition. The body's been turned over to his next of kin. And at this point, a skull wearing a dress, a skeleton wearing a dress, walks past, just sweeping up. And Crystal says, "Oh, greetings, Coco." And the skeleton says, "Hello," as it continues to work. And then, as it gets to the end of the hallway, suddenly a shadow pops out at Coco, scaring him as his skull pops off his body and lands nearby. As he screams like a little girl. And Crystal says, "Spooklar," as a snickering shadow mass comes out of the wall and hovers toward her. And she facepalms and says, "Why do I get all the dysfunctional Mystimon?" And the shadow mass goes invisible. Does anyone say anything or anything at this point?
We've been here for 3 days, you said?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, Jackie, go ahead.
No, I was just mentioning that, like, as you're just kind of watching the whole situation as per usual, like, kind of providing an, like, the most neutral face that one can muster.
Especially as Spooklar scares Coco out of its wits. And, Soma?
Yeah, I was going to ask, has this happened to all of us? Have we all been jump scared by Spooklar at some point in the last 3 days?
No, just Coco.
No. Just Coco? It just focuses on Coco. Have we seen this happen?
Just
Or is
now.
this the first
No,
time
just
we've seen?
just now. This is the first time you've
Okay.
seen it because Spooklar is Crystal's, so it follows her around. So the only reason it's here is because she's here.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
And she says, "I'm so
But Coco's been here.
Yeah, Coco's been here. Coco's been kind of like a maid. And you've been kind of a little iffy about him because you're like, what the hell is a Scalm doing here cleaning the house like a maid?" Aren't Scalms supposed to be evil?
Hey, I ain't
this
gonna
point-
question a skeleton wearing a dress. I'm a robot wearing a trench coat. I'm like, who am I to question?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, look, I spent the last week with a robot wearing a trench coat. Who am I to question a skeleton wearing a dress?
I'm a human wearing a trench coat. We're not that far apart.
Look, if
Only
the
a
same,
couple
you
layers
and
of
I.
skin. Meat.
And Crystal
I'm just you in the future.
goes over to Coco and says, "I'm so sorry, Coco. Spooklar likes its pranks." And Coco, as she helps Coco put its skull back on, and Coco says, "Oh, that's quite all right, milady. Thanks for the kindness. I know I can myself seem rather scary." And Crystal
and
sighs and says, "Why must you wear boys' dresses?" And Coco just looks
And-
confused.
Esther's like, I can help you pick some for yourself if you want.
Buy new dresses?
Yeah. Why not?
I like dresses. They're comfy.
Exactly. Esther kind of has this like Esther kind of has this like look of someone who didn't even notice that like a skeleton being in the room was like kind of a big deal because tiefling, she's kind of used to getting the "aren't you supposed to be evil" reaction
Yeah.
herself, so she can relate.
Yeah, of course. But Coco it has actually seemed really friendly to all of you. Like, incredibly friendly. Like, scarily friendly.
That's kind of friendly.
How cohesive is Coco's form? If the head pops off in startlement, does that happen to the rest of the bones as well? I think this is probably the question that has been like plaguing Soma over the last 3 days after meeting Coco for the first time. To the extent that I think Zeal has tried to walk off with a toe bone once or twice.
Coco's bizarre anatomy.
Well, it's a skeleton that's held together by necromantic energy, by like black mystia.
I mean, my
But I
question
mean, it doesn't-
stands.
Yeah, it's not like it's a solid hold, or otherwise the head wouldn't pop off.
How far do the I mean, like I said, this is not a question that needs to be answered right now. This is the question that has been plaguing Soma over the last 3 days, is how far that connection can stretch.
And to be fair, Soma might not have known to ask the question until right now when we saw that. Since it is the first time
Oh,
we've seen it happen.
no. Soma has seen a skeleton walking around, and the very first thought for her is, how are those bones sticking together?
How does bones work?
She's too polite to
Hey,
ask.
yo. Hey, yo.
How does
Same as
bones
it's
work?
the same answer as every other thing that sticks together: duct tape and prayers.
Hey, look, we stick together through meat.
How do undead
So-
work?
Hey, speak for yourself.
How do undead work?
You stick together through duct tape and prayers.
How do undead work?
Look, not even the duct tape's there. Who knows how I stick together?
Yeah, who knows? That is definitely a very good question.
New character end goal.
Well, you can play.
Great, because it's one of Pastel's goals.
You can play a skull.
Esther like leans
Oh no,
into...
I meant answer the question.
Okay.
I'm sorry. Go
Esther
ahead.
leans her back against like a wall and crosses her arms and stuff and says, I know how they stay attached, but I ain't telling you.
Oh, I'm not asking any of this. None of this is verbal. This was just the outside.
Yeah, you could just tell
or
from the look on Soma's face.
Thinking about how it's Yeah, probably.
Esther,
But to get
everyone else, as you're looking at Esther, as Esther's like leaning up against a wall, you see this shadow come up behind Esther, and Crystal says, "Spooklar, stop!" and the shadow sinks back into the wall. It was about to play a prank on
one
Esther.
question. Lori Torwind?
Laurie Torwind.
How is
Esther?
that spelled?
Esther like chuckles a bit.
Oh,
being
thank
like,
you.
Trying to play a prank involving shadows on the Shadow Sorcerer, huh? I respect the gall.
To get back to the rather horrible story that Crystal said before we were all distracted by Slapstick.
I was trying to avoid me that.
What does this does this have anything to do with what you have you had any luck with your informant?
Oh, sorry, I've been really distracted with this news today. Yeah, I have. She will meet with you, but she will only meet with you at her apartment at midnight.
Busy fella?
She is actually a detective with the Magi Guard.
Yeah.
She has been a good friend of mine for a few years now, and she has been helping me investigate this on the side. You can trust her.
Esther squints. If you say so.
And this would be her apartment in Calrune?
Yes.
Today? Or just any midnight?
Any midnight.
Do you think that what...
Reward.
Oh no, go ahead, Bastille.
It will be expected that part of the reward is the passage into the obelisk, as it was the next thing we were inquiring of.
Yes, I believe she has managed to get you access to the temple.
As long as it is understood that that is a requirement for us to do this mission.
That is understandable.
No further questions from myself.
Let me know when you are ready to meet with her. Her name is Desdeline Bolera. She also goes by Skinny.
I believe Soma had one further question.
Do you think that Matameo's death was in any way related?
I doubt it. So, I want to explain to you my hesitation to believe any of Matameo's story. Laurie Torwind, I know very well. She is a benefactor of the Wayfinder Society. She has donated a large amount of money to the society.
Would this not be beneficial in attempting to disprove such suspicions?
What in fact were the suspicions? Was he saying that she was doing something bad, or simply that she
Yeah.
was connected, that her actions were connected in some way?
Yeah, I think he was suspecting her of being behind everything. I think at one point he even said that she was behind Zolgoth. But like I said, she's a huge benefactor of the Wayfinder Society, so I have always been extremely hesitant to believe anything that he says. Why would anyone donate so much money to the society if they were up to no good? I just don't get it.
There is such a thing as buying trust.
Yeah, but none of the evidence that none of the so-called evidence that he collected, and you can look for yourself through his room here. None of the so-called evidence that he has collected makes any sense. Like he's saying that she's some kind of old being that's been here for thousands of years. How does that make any sense?
Does it make any less sense than some of the things that actually turned out to be true?
Do you not already have connections with ancient beings like that? Do we know? Is that Kyrene said something about that, right? Before?
Kyrene's spoken about her spirit guardians.
I am trying to distinguish what I read in the lore documents versus what has actually been said in canon. Sorry, everybody. I mean, okay, let me rephrase that then. I mean, spirits returning or things of that nature do not seem that out of the question. I understand your hesitancy to believe that someone who has done good for you would be capable of great evil, but I am with Esther. It is not to be dismissed out of hand.
If you want to
Kind of casting
investigate,
longing glances towards the conspiracy room.
if you want to investigate this on your spare time, have at it. This room is open to you. There's no use keeping it locked up anymore.
Very well.
But still, we'll head to the room.
And she says, how about after you investigate the Calrune Devil?
I suppose
Is
so.
this not potentially related?
Probably not.
If she is behind everything, would it not be related if she is behind this?
We can use our investigation to assess, and gather any clues about how she is. I suppose we are going to get into contact, apparently.
looks like Cha needs to drop out of the session and take some medicine and go back to sleep. They are not doing too hot right now. So good night, Cha. Get well
What
soon.
happened?
Hope you
Yeah,
feel better.
Thank
Yeah.
you. See you guys. Have a fun session.
All right, continue. Where was I? Where were we?
Just gonna say, do you want to continue GM with half the party, or like, up to you, really?
Well, I mean, we're already playing, so
Okay,
Yeah, 3
just
players.
checking in.
3 players can make a party.
yeah.
That's a party.
Yeah.
Sorry.
My Strength 1000 game is 3 players currently.
Apology not accepted.
Second one of the day. Damn. Hard crowd.
I just flew in from the Hilltop Valley, and boy, are my arms tired. Alrighty. So, all right. Well, if we are not poking around the conspiracy room, what time of day is it?
It is early in the morning.
Okay.
Actually, let me change the time here. It's about 9:30 in the morning.
Okay. How did how did Crystal receive word of this? What's it would it have been from by Kroll Post, or
From her
are there
contacts.
other forms of long distance communication?
Yeah, the Comstones.
Okay.
But
So she heard it via Comstone.
yeah, she has contacts at Darkon Sanatorium.
Well, do we want to try and head to Calrune? Set up base there?
You can set up base at the tower. The Wayfinder Society Tower.
Wayfinder Society Tower in
I suppose if we are not wish to investigate the room here while here,
Is that a note of resentment I hear?
it just does not make sense to not do it while we're already here.
I think we need additional clues is the thing.
Think of it as think of it as a
But
treat
if
for
we-
later.
That's
But
fair.
if we come across information in which we might need to cross-reference with the information in the room, then we will just be returning here to get the information in the room.
Well, we can make a call.
How? I mean, it won't take us. How long will it take us to get there?
To Calrune. There's actually
Yeah. Do we
a
have use of the?
there's a teleport portal actually in the barn that goes directly to the basement of the Wayfinder Society Tower.
Do we
Crystal
want to
actually
try to then?
Crystal actually set
Oh,
it up. Crystal actually set up that teleport portal.
Excellent.
Oh yeah, the one.
Do we
that
want to
Casey almost
then
died in.
just like? Oh dear, great. That's promising.
What was that? What was that, Esther?
I was saying, oh yeah, the one that Casey almost died in.
Yeah, I mean, Crystal says, yeah, I mean, I almost died too. That's because I tried
so the one that two
teleporting.
people almost died in.
That's because I tried to teleport directly from the Quartricon Islands all the way to Almana. Apparently, that long of a distance causes backfeed. I haven't figured it out yet.
Oh well, you know what they say. If I die, I die.
They is doing a lot of work in that sentence.
Well, you know. You know.
Well, with that in mind, if it is that simple, can we not spend a few hours just, looking in, reviewing some of these documents? Cursory glance. Couple hours long cursory glance.
she says, suit yourself. Go ahead.
Since we can only meet your friends at midnight.
Go for it.
What was the
Bastille
formula
starts
for,
heading to the room.
Yep.
What was the formula for Misty again? I forgot.
What?
What was the formula for Misty again? For like maximum? I forgot.
Your
is-
key ability times your level plus 10 for now.
Okay.
I already applied that to all of your characters. Under effects.
I was gonna say I've already got mine at what it should be, so
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Our little stamp in the corner.
not a miss.
So yeah, poking around the room. Obviously the first impression are, wild, messy conspiracy board times 4 or possibly 5 if it's also on the ceiling. But is there anything else?
Yeah,
that,
actually, there is some points.
2 to 4 hours of reading will get us.
There is actually some points connecting up to the ceiling. And you're kind of wondering, how does a short Izmir reach up there? Because there's no step stool or anything in here.
With a lot of dedication.
Do we know approximately?
I am trying to read it by launching Zeal up, just yeeting him up at the ceiling and asking him to read things very quickly.
Oh, that's fine. Do we know approximately how long ago it was that he was doing research here?
A few months ago.
Fantastic. We're gonna go ahead and do an object reading. Because I too
Woo.
have that spell.
Oh, God.
And we're going to focus on the moment that he came to the conclusion that this woman was the cause of everything. To see what made him come to that conclusion. I think I broke the DM.
Give me a moment.
Please stand by. Please stand by. Please stand by.
I was reading the spell,
I actually
okay?
imagine that Bastille is doing that.
I was reading the spell, okay? Bastille. But yes, I also imagine Bastille actually doing that.
So I gotta ask, how much money do we have again, or did we get any money last session?
You
Because,
got, I believe, 50 gold,
45 gold.
45 gold.
Oh, you said 45.
Okay.
Yeah, 45 each.
Okay, so that
I'm good with 50 gold.
look, I'm saving up for both of the upgrades at level 10, which are both pretty expensive. Weapon potency runes are like 900.
Good luck with that.
Please stand by.
But still, I was reading the spell.
Please stand by.
I totally imagine Bastille actually doing that.
Please stand by. Well, if it's Bastille's voice, please stand by.
Please stand by.
I imagine it
Please
not
stand by.
being Bastile's voice, actually. Like it's suddenly just hold music, not Bastile's voice, but a totally separate recording.
Actually,
Totally.
I have a question.
Absolutely.
Bum.
I have an additional question.
Sure.
Since last session, did we get any downtime per chance?
3 days.
It's been 3 days.
3 days. Can I use all of that downtime to earn income?
Sure.
By-
Sure. I would have
and-
preferred if you had done this, beforehand, but sure.
Sorry, I didn't know that we had downtime to begin with. Sorry. It's okay if it's okay if it's a bit late now. It's okay if not.
I mean, we're right in the middle of things.
Right.
We can handle that later,
Right.
as I'm trying to figure out exactly what the heck Mistil is reading here. You want the moment that he came to the conclusion that Laurie Torwin was an evil person.
Correct.
The moment that he came to the conclusion that Laurie Torwin was an evil person, when he actually came in here and started investigating this, I imagine you're like touching one of the walls or something. Probably one of the walls that seems to have the most stuff on it, and as you touch that wall, you get flashes of her in the Wayfinder Society tower, it looks like. And then you get flashes of light, and then you get flashes of a journal with blank pages. And then you get flashes of this Izmir who is just going at it, investigating some of the craziest things, investigating absolutely insane conspiracy theories. Like, he is going down the conspiracy theory rabbit hole.
Is there any indication of what Laurie was doing in the tower?
No.
That caused the flash of light? Is that a tower that's here at the farm?
No, the tower is in Calrune.
Okay, mental note. Go investigate tower while there.
And Soma, you're trying to have Zeal read things up on the ceiling.
No, like, if I'm trying to do that, that's how I'm doing it. I think I'm honestly just kind of, like, picking, like, looking for I'm imagining it's, like, newspaper clippings and documents and things and photographs or pictures, drawings, maps, etc. up on the wall, documents like that.
Yeah. There's photographs, there's
like
documents, there's letters, all kinds of things.
I want to see if I can find any documents, newspaper clippings, or anything that have to deal with the Calrune Devil. And then once I do that, try and trace the threads around the room.
Make me a perception check. I love this.
All right. Can I nudge fate to do this? Can I try to do this?
What does that do?
This is... I'll just cast it and show you.
It's a
Read
hex.
slightly into the future. It's a hex. And give fate a tiny push to achieve the result you desire. Once during the duration, when the target fails an attack roll, skill check, or saving throw, and a +1 status bonus would turn a critical failure into a failure or a failure into a success. I grant the target a +1 status bonus to the check retroactively, changing the outcome appropriately. So I guess this is more like a reaction.
Yeah, it is.
I don't know.
It looks like it's a reaction.
While previous casting is still in effect.
Yeah. Just.
Oh no, it's not. It's sustained. So I
Yeah.
would just I have to cast this and then be looking for this, basically.
Yeah. Sustained up to 1 minute. So you cast it.
Is this something that could work in this situation?
Yeah, sure. Perception check is a skill check.
Because it is a cantrip, does that take from my focus pool, even though it's a hex? Or
No.
because it
No,
does it not? Okay,
No.
I didn't think so. I just wanted to double check.
not unless you're a
Blind
psychic and you
GM roll, I
spend
don't have
you spend
anything.
focus points on amping it.
No,
Yeah, I think
I am not.
I think the witch is one of the 2 classes in the game that actually gets focus cantrips. The other one being the bard. Fun fact.
Yeah,
And psychic.
Yeah, I get.
Psychic.
I think I just get the one.
Psychic gets normal cantrips that they can amp using focus points. They don't get focus cantrips.
Yeah, I get a hex cantrip from my patron. But yeah, so I made my roll. Nudge Fate doesn't apply if it was a success, but if it was a +1 to make it not a critical failure or a failure, then it applies. But otherwise, it does not apply. It's such a specific spell.
Yeah, it's very, very specific, very situational.
And you don't even have to tell me if it applied or not. I just wanted to use it because I'd never used it before.
Fair. So you're looking for anything that might have anything to do with the Calrune Devil, the serial killer that you're looking into, that you're supposed to be investigating. And there is only a single newspaper clipping referring to the Calrune Devil on the left-hand side wall, right next to his bed. And there are no strings going from it anywhere.
Interesting. Are there any other items in the room that have no strings attached to them?
A few.
I mean, I don't mean items. I mean clippings, stuff on the walls.
A few.
What are they?
There's photographs of, it looks like, this ranch. There's photographs of Calrune. And there is documents talking about the Immortals. And the Immortals, what the Immortals are they're a group of people who some of them are actually dead now, strangely enough, because they're called Immortals. But the thing is, they just had immortal life. Like they could be killed.
Yeah. They can live forever unless they're killed.
Yeah, but from what you can determine from some of these documents that are talking about the Immortals, some of them have been murdered.
Some of them.
Some of
Does
them
it
have been murdered.
like names and places?
Not exact places, not exact locations, but there are names. Let me get to that. I have it somewhere in my notes here.
Well, we're doing all of this. What is Esther doing?
Esther is like, I guess, kind of trying to help, but when it comes to investigations, she's kind of out of her field. So she mostly stands like providing commentary and kind of trying to lighten up the mood by offering some like offering like a joke every now and then.
Has Esther been with the Hidden Archives the longest? Because I know that both Esther and Bastille have been there longer than Soma, but has Esther been there longer than Bastille as well?
Yes, definitely.
Or vice versa? Yes?
I
So I
truly
think
joined the
probably,
game
like-
only like 2 sessions before you.
So I think like any anything that Soma doesn't recognize, she's like holding out to Esther and being like, "What's this? Like, what's this a picture of?"
And Esther tries always tries her best to like kind of explain it in and pretend like she knows it perfectly. When in reality she kind of half does most of the time. She has been here for a while, but she's also the one that like knows the least out of all my characters. Wherever there's like a gap uh in her knowledge, she straight up just makes stuff up.
Not ideal.
Like she gives the impression that she knows everything by telling what she knows, and then whatever she doesn't know, she fills in the gaps.
Is there any information about where Adair, Inwold, or Kuzneta were killed? Or like, are those like famous deaths or something, like common knowledge, or
Adair, you have heard the name Adair tossed around here in the ranch house a number of times. Inwold and Casnetta, you have no idea. Arthur,
Okay.
Arthur is the
there
one you've heard the name Arthur the most.
yes? Is there information in these documents about where those deaths occurred?
No.
Okay, got it. Alrighty, I take note of those, and I think I'm done here. I'm hungry. I want a sandwich. that wasn't even her voice. I am not actually hungry. I think like after reading that and kind of like pasting it back up on the wall, I turn around and say, "Hungry. Who else wants a sandwich?"
I am good.
I can go for a few.
Deal looks up at Esther and also nods. We troop back downstairs. Unless anybody else has anything they want to do. Soma's gonna troop downstairs.
I'm gonna go ahead and cast Object Reading once more. And this time I'm going to focus on the event at the tower. I understand that didn't happen here, but to see what specific notes he has related to the flashing lights on the tower.
Um, he only has one note about a flashing light at the tower, and that's on the backhand wall. And as you object read that one, you get the sense that he was really going really conspiratorial there.
Okay.
Like, he was making notes about UFO abductions, and then at the end of it, he said, have we been abducted?" And it's
And last thing I would like to do, using my feat of glean contents, where I can basically get the vague idea just by looking at the text of something without necessarily reading it. I would like to decipher writing on these walls just to see if there's anything that could be important to current stuff that we might have missed.
the only thing seems to be the newspaper clipping referring to the Calrune Devil.
Okay. He will grab that newspaper clipping, and then burn him if you got him. We got plenty of Mistia, so he'll use another object reading on that clipping specifically.
You got the sense he was looking into all of the murders, and started associating those murders with Laurie Torwind. And Crystal has explained to you that Laurie Torwind is an 80-year-old woman.
This means nothing to Bastille. Truly, no matter the age, he wouldn't suspect them of murder if he suspects them of murder. You could be on your deathbed and Bastille would hold no empathy.
So, Soba, you've gone back downstairs. And you have headed into the kitchen area. And when you get to the kitchen area, you find Rune chugging down wine. And I mean chugging it down. Not sipping it, chugging it down. And she hiccups and it says, "Morning." And you kind of get the sense she's been here all night. And then you see Oko kind of sweeping worriedly around her. And he says, "Why must you get everything messy?"
I'm just gonna edge by them and make myself a sandwich. And make Esther a sandwich. And make Zeal a sandwich without the bread.
After passing by them, just comments. Geez, you want a cigarette to go with that too?
Sure.
That's his name. I was joking.
And Oko says, "Outside!" Making everything messy.
I think there's a bigger problem
While we're
at hand,
sitting
but well,
outside eating our sandwiches. Sorry, go on. I apologize.
I was like, well, I think there's a bigger problem than the general locations cleanliness at hand here, but well, none of my business. And she just calmly walks out of that of that situation.
Yep. While we're sitting on the porch eating our sandwiches.
I think
Um,
I think Oko was referring to Rude. Take the cigarette outside.
No, Coco was also referring to Soma because he has now seen how Soma eats. um,
Also, we'll join them
the
afterwards. Truly just standing over them.
yeah, I with like the crumbs from my sandwich, I do want to cast Read Omens, to kind of do a pre-vibe check on how this meeting, this evening is going to go.
Okay. Read omens on what?
On our meeting with Skinny, Deslin Bolera. I don't know if I said that right.
Yep, Desdelin Bolera.
Um,
Or Skinny.
AKA Skinny.
Yeah.
How that might go. And, you know, what we can expect.
You can
I'm like arranging my crusts into occult patterns on the porch.
You get the sense that a lot of what she's going to talk about is going to be very disturbing, but very important.
But that I can expect it to be a fairly normal meeting.
Yeah.
Okay. I need to track that Mystia. I would like to cast it again. But about... Are we planning on going... I want to cast it with the hypothetical in mind that we might have to go to Agrabah, I think you said.
Yeah.
It was
Agrabah. Agrabah is... That was literally the first time you have ever heard that name. You've never heard that name before.
And so I'm thinking about, because I've never been to this continent before.
Yeah.
So I think like I've heard of Calrune, but
Of
like
course you have.
I don't think I've probably heard of any other location on this continent.
Yeah, you would have absolutely heard of Calrune, because Calrune is like the capital city of Almana, but it's also
it's like not having heard of Paris.
But it's also kind of considered the center of the world.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so more like not having heard of, I don't know. I was gonna make a joke about New Yorkers here. But,
I mean, that might fit there.
But like any other part, I wouldn't expect it too.
Yeah.
But thinking like about the, you know, kind of keeping in mind like this connection with this place called the Dreaming Palace, I think you said.
Yeah.
And Agrabah, and what, what might happen if we end up going there.
It is very cloudy. You're not sure if you're going to end up going there. At least not right now.
I am not, but I am trying to. I'm not necessarily, but like, if I plan to. I'm not like trying to find out if we're going to go there. I'm trying to find out that if we go there, what should I know?
As you focus on the name Agrabah, keeping in mind that you don't even know where on the map Agrabah even is, you get
Only
these...
that the trail went cold and the investigators never came back from there.
Yeah, you get these images, these flashes of the deep sea, and then these flashes of these fish-looking people, and intermixed with flashes of these tentacles, these writhing tentacles. And it kind of it really shocks you right out of the vision, seeing that stuff, because it is really, really disturbing. And you need to make me a stress save.
Mm-hmm.
That is going to be a will save.
What is that?
That is going to be a will save.
Sure. And is that public or private?
That
or
is
blind, I mean.
Public. Public.
Cool.
Okay, you managed as you get shooken out of that from these really disturbing images, you kind of just calm yourself. You take deep breaths, and you manage to shake that off, and you're asking yourself, what the F was that?
I kind of look down, and my like crusts that I use like almost look like tentacles, and I just kind of scrub at them. Kind of freaked out.
Buster's like midway through munching on a sandwich, like with her bowel flask. You good?
There is do you know where Agrabah is? Have you ever heard of that place?
Do I?
Before Crystal told us about it, of course.
Seth, do I?
No. Probably not. Make a society check.
Sure. Public or blind?
That is going to be public.
Actually,
It's blind. It's blind.
Can I also make a society check?
Are you here?
Yeah, I did say I was standing there towering
Yeah.
over them.
Sure, go for it.
Trained
Yeah, I think by
improvisation
the
coming in
point-
clutch. Hopefully. Watch me have rolled like a nat one.
Well, we
well,
didn't hear
was
the
it a nat one?
womp womp.
It's reassuring.
But it wasn't quite a. Actually, it was actually a critical failure.
Well, I'm not supposed to know that, so joke's on you. I win.
So, as that is a critical failure, you believe that Agrabah is on the eastern coast of Almana.
Actually, you know what? Seth,
What do I believe?
But still,
Seth,
you believe that Agrabah is on the southern coast of Almana.
Seth, can I flavor this as her genuinely not knowing or like not having an idea and then just lying.
Yes, yeah, sure.
I mean, that's like on the west, right?
No. It is south.
That's on the west. I mean, that's come on.
Yeah, I said east.
It's not even the right, because he said east.
It's a double lie.
A double lie.
I mean, it was a critical fail. Esther not only believes it was on the west, but no longer remembers which direction is west.
Do I know any other info beyond it's south?
You believe that Agrabah is a trading port city.
If it is to the east, please tell me. What does Agrabah do?
You know.
Waiting,
You know.
waiting.
And she like,
So, but-
follows
While
Heather's
they're
number.
having this,
So, but you believe that
Sorry, what is it?
you know that there's a library upstairs, and you think you could probably get the right
yeah,
answer.
I was gonna
upstairs.
say while they're arguing about this, I am gonna go inside and go find Crystal and ask Crystal where Agrabah is and what's interesting about it.
You find Crystal, and Crystal tells you Agrabah is a city that we had actually had a very hard time finding for a long time. And we finally found it. It is actually a very, very small fishing village on the western coast of Albana, nearby to Mount Hellfire.
And Mount Hellfire is
The mountain range that is directly north of you.
okay. This one right here. Okay.
Yeah, this
it's,
mountain range.
Due west of us, or north of us.
I mean, this mountain range extends all the way
Agrabah.
across.
No. I meant the city. I meant Agrabah. You said it's west,
Yeah, it's right there.
and it's like right here. Okay, so right on the other side of the mountain range. Okay.
Waiting.
I mean, you're the live guy. You said it was south, so I guess you'd know, huh?
Correct. It is a
You know
trading
a lot.
port city.
Right? Yeah, that.
So you two have followed me inside and are still bickering behind me.
Yes.
Truly didn't even follow you unless the other did.
Oh, Esther did. Esther did.
There's
Oh, that's
also
about then, yes.
there's also Dark Vault Cavern right over here that extends all the way through the mountain, and it comes out over here. And
And it's called what? Dark Bowl Cavern?
Dark Vault Cavern.
Vault Cavern. Cool.
I assume I also critically failed.
Yes.
Incredible. Absolutely incredible. Have they ever had do you know if they've ever had problems with and Soma just looks like really embarrassed when she says this. Fish people?
Crystal
I don't think I mean merfolk.
Crystal says, no, definitely not merfolk or sea fae. They are... The occupants of the city are very disturbing. I don't even know what they are.
What do they look like?
They look like you just described. Like humans
Oh.
with fish-like features.
You call that disturbing? That sounds cool.
Very, shadows over Innsmouth of them.
I am glad she.
Okay.
I'm so glad she caught the reference.
Right. Are there any...
For
Are there
catching the
any,
reference, actually,
large-
you get a story point.
Why, thank you. Do you think there is, are there any known large octopus-like Mystimon in that area?
She looks at you oddly. I mean, there's the legendary Kragamoa, but that's mostly in the deep ocean trenches.
And where is that in relation to Agrabah?
Like, hundreds of miles away.
All right, thank you. Are we all ready to go? Do we need to pack?
She doesn't want to dwell on that creepy, disturbing stuff anymore.
It was very scary, and I did not like it. I come from an island, but that doesn't mean I like the ocean.
Well, you are a fox.
Exactly.
Makes you wonder why there's, I believe, 2 Alapeke on the Dipthar Trash Party?
And one of them is
Yeah,
of them
but-
is heavily tied with the ocean,
Yeah.
which arguably makes it worse.
Yeah, but both of them. Yeah, both of them are whatchamacallits. The X and
Exemplars.
yeah. There we go, exemplars. You know, they're
Yeah.
literally exemplary.
Make an example out of them.
Hey.
But that's neither here nor there. That's the other
We don't know
party.
who any of those people are.
That's the other party. Catch Terror and Depthara Trench now on Tuesday. Every other Tuesday.
Coming to you live Tuesday.
The next episode of Terror and Depthara Trench will be on Halloween Day, actually.
Ooh.
Yep.
I mean, Alexis is supposedly mildly famous, so knowing them is only unlikely, not impossible, but unlikely.
Actually, I mean, that's a good point. I'm an Alopeke. Alexis is a famous Alopeke. Would I have heard of Alexis?
Make a society check.
Yay!
And I also make one in
I
hopes
don't-
that I succeed and they fail so I can have heard of their character.
Sure.
Look.
It'd be so funny.
If you
this
succeed,
public
I
or
give you a
blind?
section of.
Blind.
Can we make it
a
public
section
just
of
because this
Alexis's
is
backstory.
basically a joke?
Yes. Yeah, make it public. It's
Okay,
basically a joke, so.
I did it blind already, sorry.
You can,
I got it.
Seth. You can turn it into a public role.
Uh,
By right-clicking it and
reveal to
going
everyone.
show it to the, there we go.
Dang it.
Oh, nice.
Dang it.
Soma, yes, you've heard of Alexis. Alexis is very, very famous. In fact, Jackie, why don't you describe Alexis?
Yeah, what are the
Alexis-
rumors that I have heard about Alexis?
Alexis is known for killing
A Cragamoa.
a mystical,
A Cragamoa.
for killing essentially a kraken as a teenager.
I think back to that image that I saw of like the
Writhing tentacles.
of those enormous tentacles, and like remember these rumors that I've heard of this like very famous Alopeke who killed one of those, and I'm just like, hard pass.
Nope.
And then
Big
you
nope.
remember the news tagline for that you read. This one really ain't cracking under pressure.
Hey. Can I give Binary my hero point?
No, Binary gets his own story point.
Yes.
You see like a headline that has that pun, and below it is a picture of Alexis just looking absolutely traumatized, holding a harpoon or a gill hook, actually.
And you know that actually falls under creating like minor canon.
I mean,
Yep,
hey,
that's
being
absolutely a
popular
clipping
is-
that I have in my scrapbook.
Let's go.
Hey, being popular for
bring
that
up story
is
points.
technically described in Alexis's backstory. Technically, if you read in a singular sentence.
Yeah, one
Sorry,
of the ways you could earn story points is establish canon, a minor fact related to your character that connects with the current scene. This is used by linking the current scene to your character. That is literally under story points.
Interesting.
And I could extrapolate
Right, so
that
do
can
we-
mean characters that are not actually your current characters.
So do we want to like hack and head out? Let's see. Let me go read the description of extract poison and see if I can do it to to Rune before we leave.
Well, there's the teleport portal in the barn.
Oh right, thank goodness. I keep forgetting it. I dread the airship so much that I keep forgetting we don't have to take it.
That's sort of like folks who, hey, where are you going?
Nope, we don't have to take the airship today.
Look, I don't think,
Thank
even if we wanted to, we'd be able to go using the airship and Esper points at subway points at Rune.
Yeah, Rune's basically collapsed now.
I can make us a
I
carriage.
mean, like I said.
Are we in need of transportation?
And Coco the Scald is like sweeping really angrily around Rude and trying very hard to move Rude up to her room.
Aw. Poor Coco.
Are we in need of transportation?
No, there's the teleport portal in the barn.
I don't think so. We just
Very well. I can make a carriage if needed.
Oh, this one.
while it would be very funny to drive through the teleportation rune, I don't think we need to.
That would be absolutely hilarious, considering the teleport portal goes to the basement of the Wayfinder Tower.
One basement to another basement. Yeah.
The barn to the basement.
Oh, the barn to the basement.
Yeah.
Okay.
That would be hilarious. I don't think Crystal would appreciate that very much.
Look,
Oh, yeah. Oh, are we heading out?
Alrighty, shall we be off? Yes.
Absolutely. So, you head off through the teleport portal and land in this basement underneath the Wayfinder Tower. And surrounding you are all these bookcases. And Crystal has accompanied you, and she explains that this basement is essentially the hidden archives. It's your library, and basically all of your case files are here too. And she leads you upstairs. And as you come upstairs to the ground floor of the tower, you find all these desks are scattered about the ground floor here, with people bustling about. And Crystal goes up to the secretary desk that's right in front of like the stairway leading upstairs, and it looks like Crystal's secretary is not in today. And Crystal says, wonder where Amanda is. And she's looking on Amanda's desk for any messages she might have, any mail she might have. She doesn't see any, so she Hey, Elle. Why?
Oh, I'm sorry. Is there a lot of back?
I don't see your. I don't see your.
Oh. My token?
I don't see your.
Whatever.
I don't see your cursor anywhere.
I'm on the Calrune map. In the world map. I didn't know it disappeared me.
Well, that's a problem. Okay.
You can go to the world map, and then you can click Calrune, and it takes you to
Elle
the
escaped.
Calrune map. I
Elle's-
escaped. I broke out of the Matrix.
I'm glad we had.
I'm
the
glad
exact
you
same
found
thought.
that. And
One thing
by
that
the way, I am going to now activate the scene.
Elle's
Also, one thing that I
beginning to
just-
believe.
That I just remembered, that I was going to say before, but I like forgot, is I was gonna explain Nudge Fate as being basically guidance, but like way better.
Yeah. It's really cool. It's a really cool just flavor and also just, nifty effect.
Yeah, it's strong. It's really good and cool. Like, it is one of my favorite like witch hexes because it's just like I said, it's cool flavor wise. It's good mechanically. It's pretty good. It's pretty fun.
So we are now on the Calrune City Theater of the Mind map here. It is about 10:30 in the morning. And Crystal reminds you that Skinny will meet with you at her apartment at midnight. So you have the whole day to explore around Calrune.
Are we in the tower that I saw in the vision, or is that a different tower?
Yes,
Calrune?
yes, you are directly in the tower you saw in the vision.
Cool. Bastille immediately starts heading up to the top of the tower.
And Crystal asks, "What are you doing going up to my office?"
I'm investigating lights that came out of here.
Okay. She is very confused.
He continues walking.
I'm sure that won't go wrong.
He has provided as much explanation as she asked for, and she has no further questions. That is on her.
She is very confused.
Refuses to elaborate.
It's not that he refuses, but no further questions were asked.
True.
Seth, should we be seeing anything on this space where we are right now?
This is
It is
just
completely
a.
black for us.
This is. Really?
Yes.
Give me
Yes.
one moment.
I dragged my token on to see if it would give me vision. It did not, and now I can't remove it. Oh, cool.
Okay,
Can you
now we
remove
see
my
a desert
token for
city.
me? Yeah, it's beautiful.
Sorry about that.
I like the cloud effect that's happening here.
Oh yeah. I think I use that module in my own games. It's a really good one. It makes the scenario look really pretty.
But yeah, once he gets into the top of the tower, he's gonna use if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Same versus the first. What's the name of the spell? Object reading.
Object reading?
Yep.
I think I can remove your character token. There you go.
Thank you. There we go. Perfect. Thank you.
Not even sure how you got it all the way down to that corner. I had to actually collapse the sidebar to get to it. So
I'm,
you
like zoomed fully out.
you go
That's
all
all.
the way up to Crystal's office. And Crystal's office is a bit of a mess. You see books all over the place. You see papers all over the place. And Crystal comes up behind you and she's, excuse the organized mess.
It is fine. I am not here for it.
Maybe I should get Coco to come clean up my office.
As yeah, I just go to wherever I saw Laurie Townsend in the vision, and then I focus on that to see what happened here and why it would be so important.
Yeah. You would get the sense that if we were to speak in earthly terms, you would get the sense that Crystal is kind of ADHD or ADD.
Casually looks around my own room.
So you get the struggle. You totally understand the struggle that Crystal's dealing with. So you are doing object reading on like one of the walls. Once you get
Yeah,
past,
basically wherever
once
I
you get
saw
past
the
the
vision
mess.
of Laurie Townsend,
once you
that
get
is
past the
where
mess.
he's- yeah. Essentially, he will just truly forcefully shove anything out of the way until he is standing in the exact spot Laurie Townsend was on the vision, and then we'll cast object reading.
That was actually downstairs.
Oh, I thought I'd seen them at the top of the tower with the lights.
Nope. It was actually downstairs.
Okay, well, that's why I was saying he was going to wherever Laurie Townsend was, so then he will go downstairs, not
Okay.
upstairs.
Okay. So he goes back downstairs, back to the ground floor, and he does. You see Bastille doing this object reading on the wall of the ground floor. And unfortunately, you don't see anything. Nothing at all.
Interesting. So then the event did not occur within the last year?
No. Not that you could tell, because when you flash back to the last year, all you see is basically the same things you're seeing right now.
Okay, but he does still see that event happen. It's not like he sees nothing.
Yeah,
He just doesn't see anything more.
He doesn't see anything more than what is happening right now in the present day. Just the hustle and bustle of the normal day of the Wayfinder Society.
So you don't see the light.
Yeah, I'm trying to
the whole
clarify.
thing with
Like,
the lights.
do I see the vision at all of
No.
Lori Townsend with the lights at all?
No.
So then that, even though I got the vision in the other place, which implied that it would have happened within the last year, I didn't get it here.
You didn't get it here. You got the vision there because you got the sense you were coming.
Yeah.
You're taking it from Madame Mia's memories.
Yeah. So then he saw some.
I believe I have information.
What is it?
I believe the one that was in the asylum was made to believe information that did not happen. Crystal,
Yes.
do you have any objects of the individual that he held on to for a longer period?
All that he had is still in his room at the ranch.
Unfortunate. I will be back.
He's gonna go back through the teleporter.
Are you going back to
Might as well. We got like again 14 more hours till it's midnight.
I mean, you're not wrong.
Yep, you're not wrong.
And yeah, essentially he's gonna go get an object from the person. Like, he'll figure out whatever might have been held on to the longest that they've got. And instead of in the last year, since he's not sure if that'll work, he's gonna cast it at heightened at 6 for the last decade. And focus on Zolgoth to see if there's any interaction where his mind got. Well, he'll focus on any point where it seems like his mind might have been messed with or altered.
Any point where his mind might have been altered in some way.
Correct. Like, outside of his own thoughts, like something specifically
Right.
had an effect on his mind.
Right. You don't get the sense that anything was actually messing with his mind.
I got the vision for Lori Townsend, but nothing outside. Nothing had an outside influence on him fully believing that. Interesting.
I want to just point out, like, out of character, the reason that scene exists at the beginning of this episode is just to set the vibe for the episode. anything you're following within that's in his room or anything that has absolutely no bearing on the case.
Fair enough.
It is simply something that you can look into on your spare time. If you really believe that there's something to the insane conspiracy theories.
And Bastille doesn't know what to believe, but Bastille knows like this is the only person around that's been looking into this for as long as possible, beyond the person that is sane and we've already talked to and has shared some info, but basically said, yeah, I believe it's this person. No, I don't have any hard facts to support such, other than, hey, it recently happened again.
Also, God, I forgot his name. What was his name again?
Matameo. Matameo?
Hey, Seth.
Yeah.
Solka?
Am I? Let me see if I'm getting names wrong. Is Matameo the one that was
Mashed potato.
investigating? God, names are not coming up to me today, huh? Hang on.
Matabeo was investigating Laurie Torwind.
Yeah, I was gonna say, was Matabeo the one that was investigating Evelyn?
I believe he actually did at one point.
Okay, then Evelyn Evelyn gets to evade the law for another to see another day. Unfortunately.
I mean, Evelyn, it feels a lot of guilt, and might actually commiserate with the Ghost Star writer. Now knowing who the Ghost Star writer actually is. Now knowing that the Ghost Star writer is Daphne. And Daphne has her own story, her own guilt.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I suppose so. But that's neither here nor there. For now. What? So we're waiting until midnight, right?
Yep.
Correct.
I just gonna go ahead and do some tourism.
Okay. Checking around the town, checking out the sights, huh?
Yep. She's also
Yep.
she's also gonna be sure to like not exactly like commit a big theft, but just steal a little keepsake from somewhere.
So, you know that Calrune is a walled capital. It's a walled capital city. You know that the city is separated into various districts, including the Palace District, the Market District, the Noble District, the Coliseum District, the Housing District, and the Precipice District. The Precipice District was just recently built. It's the most recent addition to the city. It actually opened during the World Fair. So actually, a lot of the murders, they actually took place in the Precipice District.
That reminds me. Before joining for tourism, can I go down into the basement, into the archives, and look up any of the case files from the previous investigation?
Crystal,
Just to get more details than Crystal.
Crystal actually tells you that the case files is actually up in her office for that particular case.
Okay, can I read
I
them?
will aid in
Then?
your search.
She says sure, and leads you upstairs. And Esther, for some reason, as you head out on this like tourism tour, you are drawn to the Coliseum District. You're not sure why. You're just drawn to the Coliseum District first.
He knows that. Esther's an impulsive person.
Yep. And the first very famous site that you are drawn to is the Coliseum itself, that the district is named for. And you actually see a woman there. Give me a moment. You see a woman there at the Coliseum. And she is holding. You actually find this rally going on. This woman is standing up on a stage, and she's giving a speech to this crowd of people. And it looks like you've walked upon a political rally. And you see this banner above this woman that says elect Kari Carmine to the council.
Mm-hmm.
And she is talking a lot about the Pro Battle League Championship Series.
Which would be?
It's it is a sporting event that involves a lot of like magic dueling and a lot of combat. And it seems the reason why she's talking about it is, from what you could tell, she actually is a pro battler. And she is running for a council because she has grown infuriated with Pharaoh Stormbreak because he has been trying to get the sport outlawed. He seems to call it a blood sport and everything. So she is running for the council to try to stand up for the Pro Battle League.
Esther thinks for a bit. She's like, I need to reflect to know my thoughts on this. And she's eventually like, wait, I don't love you.
What?
she's eventually like, wait, I don't live here. Like,
I don't live here.
I wouldn't get
It was a
involved
joke.
anyway.
It's like, I wonder
I
who
can't
I should
vote.
vote for in the coming election. Hold on a minute.
I don't even
That
live
doesn't
here.
Yeah.
Well, you live in
Except I'm bearing
Almana.
on my personal
Your
life.
current residence is in Almana, so.
Have you registered to vote? Has Esther registered to vote?
Yeah, that's a good
Register
question.
to vote, kids. Vote in your local elections.
Absolutely, absolutely.
PSA.
Don't be like Bastille, who doesn't even know what an election is. Register to vote.
I am Seth R. Mitchell, and I approve this message.
I think despite, just by being an anarchist, she would at least like work with what she has, and she would vote. Even though
This
she did-
anarchist votes.
I mean, hey, regardless of whether or not being she's an anarchist, she is not living in an anarchy, so.
So, back to Soma. Soma, you're looking through the information that Crystal has on the Calrune Devil murders.
Bastille did come to help, since with Glean for Contents and Eye
Yeah.
for Numbers, he can probably find the papers and the meths.
Yeah.
They are over there.
The ADHD mess. So, what you could glean from the file is that the name of the suspect that the Magi Guard have in custody, that is in prison right now, is Hendred Pratchett. Hendred Pratchett. I am going to copy paste this name into the chat.
Cool, I spelled it right. I'm also looking for like notable locations that came up during the course of the investigation.
The main area where the murders were taking place seems to be the Precipice District. There were some that took place in the housing district, but the main area was the Precipice District, and it just so happened that the World Fair was taking place in the Precipice District at the same time.
And the Temple of the Gods is where?
In the Palace District. And the Palace District is located at the very heart of Calrune.
Okay. And what district is the tower in?
One
Where
moment,
we are right
please. One moment, please.
You stumped him.
The tower is in the housing district. The tower is on the eastern side of the tower, or the housing district. I'm actually going to copy paste the Calrune map into the chat, into the Discord chat from World Anvil.
Cool, thank you.
Because I actually have everything mapped out on there.
Ah, beautiful.
So you see the Palace District right here in
and
this.
Darkon Sanatorium is there too.
Yeah.
It's not loading. There we go. Come on, bud. Come on, you could do it. Believe in you.
And the Precipice
I know.
District is down here to the and the southeastern side of the city. and it is actually the only part of the city that is outside of the... Why do I keep doing that? That is outside of the city walls.
The Precipice District?
Yeah, the Precipice District is outside of the city walls.
Okay. Got it.
Why does
Got
that
it.
keep happening?
Where in the housing district were the murders that took place in the housing district? Like, were they in a generally similar area, or were they kind of just random places?
They were kind of in just random places.
Okay, gotcha.
And the majority were in the Precipice District.
Got it. Do we have a list in the case files of, like, the previous victims?
That is apparently information that Crystal was not able to get.
So the papers, like, never reported on who was killed.
Yeah, because the Magi Guard were trying to cover it all up.
Interesting and weird.
Crystal got the sense that they were trying to
What's
cover it up
the-
in order to not overshadow the World Fair and not panic people.
What's the status of, like, missing persons reports in Calrune?
That is actually a rabbit hole that Crystal went down. Crystal really investigated a lot of the missing persons in Calrune. You kind of get the sense that she was starting to go in the same direction as Matameo was.
Mashed potato, yes.
I don't necessarily mean, like, investigating those. I mean just, like, having records. I literally mean, what is the status of missing persons reports? Like, are those things that you can go and, like, are those, like, public archives that you can go and look up? Or, like...
A lot of it is information that the Magi Guard have, and as Crystal has already told you, the Magi Guard should be considered a hostile witness.
Eliminate on site. Understood.
Probably don't go that far.
I appreciate the enthusiasm.
Does Calrune have a newspaper? Or multiple newspapers? Like, what is the status of the free press in Calrune?
Calrune has multiple newspapers. One of them actually is a newspaper that follows the Wayfinder Society, called the Wayfinder Weekly. And Crystal has often...
That's less than ideal.
Yeah, Crystal has often referred to it as a tabloid.
Yes.
She doesn't put a lot of stock into it, mostly because they tend to over-exaggerate the stories.
So here's where I'm going with this. If we don't have a list of the actual people who were killed, like, if we don't know who the people who were killed were, we just know that there were people killed in particular locations, then we have very little information. Well, okay, that's not where I'm going with this. If we don't know the names of the people who were killed, what I'm trying to get at is, it could be possible to attempt to narrow it down, or to at least get information by, if we don't have those names and cannot get them easily from the Magi Guard, from going to like the if like there's a library that can, or if the newspapers themselves have back issues or something, like going into those and seeing if there are notices of missing persons like posted by their families, and like
I was just gonna say, I think that's
You
what
know.
the DM was saying. If that track's been gone down by Crystal, like
Oh,
Crystal
okay.
already has the
I thought you were
records of
saying
the.
that Crystal had been like investigating missing persons. And that's not what I was talking about. I was just literally talking about like, do we have a list of names of missing persons?
Yeah, I think Crystal's got missing persons that went missing close to the times of the murder, specifically.
She says if for the exact names of the victims, you will have to talk to Skinny.
Okay. So that's a question for Skinny.
Yeah.
But you do have locations of where the murders occurred.
Yeah, general locations.
General locations.
Yeah,
Do you have the numbers of how many murders there were?
Crystal says that's another question for Skinny, because apparently there have been more murders than Crystal actually knows about. And back with Esther, as the political rally with Carrie Carmine is wrapping up, you notice posters on the walls of the Coliseum. A political rally for Kyrene.
Oh.
And you're like, oh, that's someone I know. And it looks like Kyrene is going to be holding this this rally outside the walls of the Palace District.
I see. So. So, are they around right now?
Who?
I assume.
Who?
Kyrene.
Kyrene? No, Kyrene's not here. You just see posters for this.
Oh.
But it looks like
I
Kyrene
see.
is going to be at just outside the Palace District tomorrow.
Huh. Well, are we gonna be here until tomorrow? Oh well, we can teleport in and out. Yeah, we technically are gonna be here.
Yeah.
We're also going to be here at midnight, so presumably
That too.
the earliest tomorrow there is.
Yep.
True. You know. That is correct.
Technically correct is the best kind of correct.
Precisely. So, Esther grabs one of the posters, rolls it up, and then like puts it in their bag. Not sure of whether like it'll be of any use to her. But well, if it is, it's good to have it.
Yep. So, back with the other two. Back with Soma and Bastille.
I mean, it's I think we've wrapped up, and I want to go also get a sense of the layout of the city. And do we have an address? We have an address for Skinny.
Yeah.
For Skinny's apartment. Where is Skinny's apartment?
Skinny's apartment is in the housing district.
Also, if I'm able
Surprising,
to,
very few people.
if I'm able to, I will say that like you come across Esther in the meanwhile to like for a coincidental regroup.
There is also some housing out in the Precipice district. That was actually one of the reasons that the Precipice district was built. Because
We call that urban sprawl, baby.
yeah, because the housing in the housing district was getting a little too crowded. They needed more housing. What was that, Esther?
I was gonna mention, if you stumble across Esther, you will stumble across Esther just as she is like sneakily going in to steal something, whatever it is, just as a keepsake.
Yeah, you come across Esther around the Almanen Museum of Antiquity. And
Okay,
we're
maybe not something like that. Something minor.
I was gonna say, Jackie did specify not make a big theft.
like some mild shoplifting, you know.
So maybe the gift shop of the antiquity
Yeah.
store.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, you find her outside the gift shop of the Museum of Antiquity.
And
Imagine
she, like,
going to the British Museum and you just steal like a copy of the Mona Lisa.
she do that.
Isn't the Mona Lisa in Paris?
I don't.
Yeah.
It travels around.
A very small version of the Elgin marbles.
Esther is like stealing a copy
An eraser
of a
shaped
priceless
like the
artifact.
Elgin marble.
Like you see that every time the like cashier like looks at her, she just stops moving in a chameleon-like fashion and stands perfectly
everyone
still until they
knows.
look away again.
Museum employees are predators who can only see movement.
Yeah, they're basically dinosaurs. That's why they're so old. Why do you think they work in museums? They want to see their brothers.
And
it's not.
Selma, you actually remember suddenly as you were here at the museum that Crystal had mentioned that Zolgoth actually stole some ancient papyrus scrolls from the museum.
I think I remember that.
Yeah, Esther, you would remember that. You would remember that because that was part of a big case that the Hidden Archives worked on. And that was also in A Mother's Love. You can find that on our YouTube channel.
Oh wait, I'm trying to remember.
Shameless plug.
Hashtag sponsored!
There's no such thing as a shameful
By
plug.
ourselves.
Hey, if we don't sponsor us, who else will?
I'm trying to think of. Oh god, I'm trying to think of if Esther would was on that mission or if it was Evelyn. Oh no.
I do believe it was Evelyn. Yeah, it was Evelyn. But Esther probably heard about it a lot because it was a big case.
Yeah.
I truly think Jackie's trying to find any reason that they wouldn't know it. Notice how I wasn't
didn't say
corrected
anything.
on such.
I didn't say anything. I didn't,
Exactly.
I didn't say anything.
Exactly.
We walk
Look, I
all
might-
the way across the city.
Yep.
I might live in Brazil, but I think the fifth.
And I like imagine Esther kind of trying to steal a coffee mug.
Yeah. One of those
Yeah.
magnets that has a yeah. I
And
immediately gravitate towards those scarves that are all like the scarf replicas of the famous paintings.
Esther, make a thievery check.
But
Can I cause a distraction by like can I use my I want to use my fox trick to cause a distraction.
That
by,
would be a
getting
deception
really
check.
excited over all of these scars.
That would be a deception
Scars.
check.
Hold on. It is a fox trick. Always have time for attempt a single gesture. Okay. Is this a public roll?
Yes.
Okay.
Wow. Wow. Okay. You get a +1 on your roll,
alright.
Esther. And that did
Amazing.
not quite work.
And we are all forcibly ejected from the Museum of
No,
Antiquities.
she picks something up, and as she like is leaving,
she
that-
drops
that-
it.
no, you know one of those things that hang on.
You will be forcibly ejected from the museum at this point.
So you know one of the things that detects whether or like whether you're leaving with something that like has a tag on it.
Yeah, the like sensors on the door that
Yeah.
just like
Those
immediately goes
those
off.
don't exist
Yeah.
here.
As the only one not assisting, I think Bastille's the only one not going to be ejected.
They could magically exist.
I'm just imagining a smash cut here, two like little cartoon versions of the two of us getting physically kicked down the stairs of the museum.
But she like
Yeah, as you're
She thinks-
yeah, there are some magical sensors here. You're right, and as you're going through those sensors, suddenly it goes off, and the mug that you're holding falls to the floor and shatters.
and she immediately she immediately puts on the lying like mindset and is immediately like and I would just tag a feat that doesn't affect mechanically here, but it does affect flavor. But she's like, oh, right, I forgot to pay. Oh, geez, I'm really sorry. She goes up to the cashier and says, that was, I think I remember seeing on the tag, 2 silver, right?
Make a deception check.
Smash cut to
Oh.
Bastille just standing there, and if there are magnets, there's just some kid putting magnets on them.
Yeah, I did roll a 4, but
Wow.
also I have absolutely insane deception anyway, so anything below a 1 is a success. At this point.
You're a master in deception.
I invested hard into this one skill.
I can see that.
And also, anyone who is hearing her say this, realizes she like insinuates to anyone that knows her that that mug cost like 5 gold. It didn't cost 2 silver. She's absolutely lying.
Yeah.
Oh, this is so cool. That's such a cool skill.
Yeah.
This
You
is
managed to
ridiculous.
actually pull one over on the cashier, and you pay 2 silver.
They're considered getting double speak, but Bastille truly just always says what they mean. So,
So,
like,
you
for now,
just-
it would be of no worth to him.
So, you just did the whole thing. You broke it. You bought it.
I quote unquote bought it.
So you actually managed to get yourself out of that situation.
And not only do I have quick repair, but I also have some sovereign glue on me, so I can fix that mug for you. As we leave.
Make a crafting check.
Where's my... Wow, I'm good at that. Rolled like crap, but, you know.
Yeah, you managed to glue it back together, except for one piece. So there's a chip in it.
And, look, now you have a pencil holder.
Thank you. Well, I wanted a keepsake, and well, I got one.
Weren't you going to ask about those papyrus scrolls that Zolgoth apparently stole from here?
Right, we were.
Yeah, I think as we slink out of the museum, I will ask Esther about the papyri.
So
Isn't that such a delightful word?
I guess it is, huh? Well, so what do I know about those scrolls?
Make a society check.
All right.
Probably not much because
Can I-
she doesn't have very good proficiency in that.
You know, can I request a circumstance bonus from knowing someone that was there when they were stolen?
Yeah.
There we go.
Awesome. That is amazing. You just start blurting out everything about that case. And you'd explain all the way down to the fact that Ira and Koi were actually having a fight that day. And what happened was Ira left Koi alone in one part of the museum, and suddenly there was a scream, and everyone went to investigate, and Koi was found unconscious. And Zolgoth was right there and was taunting Ira, was taunting you guys, and was taunting the party. It was overall being an annoying jerk. As usual. And he said things like, Ira actually asked him, what did you do to her? And he said, me? I wasn't even here. What did you do? Leaving your fair love all by yourself? Where were you?
So,
You
tells us.
Yeah, you're describing this whole story, and all the way down to like the nitty gritty details of the story. And as you describe it, after after the party had taken Kwoi to the Temple of the Gods in order to get help for her, apparently Crystal heard that some papyrus scrolls turned up missing. So it seemed like what happened with Kwoi was a distraction.
Oh yeah. So Esther tells the story of one of the people that works in the hidden archives, and she describes her as that one creepy lady that with the cane that dresses all nice and has some kind of expensive clothing. And she proceeds to tell a story of a conversation that she had out of curiosity with that woman, and describes every single thing that she heard word for word.
Exactly.
To the point where it kind of turns into rambling for a little while.
Yeah. So just so everyone knows, she rolled a 20 on the die.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
So that's why she was able to be so detailed.
Well, it kind of starts to become like a ramble of sorts, because of the fact that it's been a while since she told a story that didn't involve a false element of some sort. So she starts to like get excited and actually like talk a bit much, to the point where it takes like half an hour for her to get finished.
I absolutely don't think that Soma is interrupting or, trying to stop this flow of words at all. I think definitely even just doing more prompts with like, and what happened then? Sort of things. Because this is the most animated that she's ever seen Esther, and this is fascinating.
Yeah. And Esther almost like makes almost like gets into character whenever she's like describing things. She like makes voices for everyone involved. And it takes a while, like I mentioned.
So
Like, oh, and then I asked her about this thing, and her being like all secretive and mysterious. She was like, oh, young lady, you mustn't know about that yet. So you see, and then she kept, and then like that kind of thing.
and what you actually remember is you're not even just explaining just about the papyrus scrolls. You're explaining everything that actually happened, and you're explaining how the party took Kwoi to the Temple of the Gods to get cured from this curse, and the priest at the Temple of the Gods couldn't do anything, and Crystal called in the only person she knew who had any knowledge at all about curses, Ira's mother, Luna. Luna Astoria. And she called in Luna Astoria, and Luna Astoria told the party that, well, you're going to have to go to find the focus of the curse. And she said that the focus of the curse was probably somewhere at a location that was important to Zolgoth, and she said she suspected Zolgoth's castle. So the party went to Zolgoth's castle and was taunted a lot by Zolgoth while there. And this was actually the investigation, the case, unfortunately, where Bifrost died. He died tragically when Zolgoth murdered him. And you describe how Zolgoth brutally murdered Bifrost right down to the finest detail.
One thing that I will say is that whenever whenever Esther talks about anything that is like more serious and more like a heavier topic on this case, she very much tries to like force in like humor and like jokes to try and like light the mood to the point where it kind of starts making it more uncomfortable.
So I'm basically getting the true crime podcast version of these
Kinda.
episodes.
Basically. Honestly, yeah.
I'm getting
put it.
My Favorite Murder does the Mystimon Saga.
Yeah, like, Esther doesn't look like she is like any semblance of used to expressing negative emotions. So she tries to like force like humor into any negative part of the or like any heavier part of the story.
Is that kind of how Esther grieves, perhaps? Because I assume that Esther grieved for Bifrost.
Somewhat. She didn't know her very well. She's just not used to being. She just not used is almost wrong. She just doesn't know at all how to be vulnerable.
Right. She's very aloof in that regard.
Yeah, because nightmare realms and all. But yeah, you get kind of the true crime podcast version.
Okay. And everyone can make a perception check as Esther is telling the story.
Alright.
Is Esther going to roll?
Oh, me too. I did.
Yep,
I didn't know
yep.
I did. Okay.
Everyone. I said everyone.
Okay.
Not that it matters.
Uh-huh.
Not that it matters for her, anyways, because she's a co-GM, so she can hear it. She can see everything, anyways.
Oh, is that meant to be secret?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I'll re-roll it.
Well, it was secret for us.
Yeah, we can't see
Oh,
it.
tend to
I
look
hit
away
it.
whenever
I
blind.
hit it.
Oh, okay. I tend to look away whenever I blind roll, so I don't,
Well,
Okay, then which one are we keeping? The new one or
Soma,
the old one?
we're going to keep the new one. Soma and Bastille. And Soma especially, because you actually... were reading the case files and everything, and Bastille it was using like what was that feat?
Glean contents and
Oh
eye
yeah,
for numbers.
glean contents and
Eye
eye
for
for numbers.
numbers.
Yeah,
Yeah, eye for numbers tells me exactly like how
Yeah.
many of those things that
Yeah.
I would need to find in glean contents. Like
Yeah.
you read it without actually reading it.
yeah, sure. So as Esther is telling the story, and Esther is completely oblivious to it. Soma and Bastille, as she's reading the story, as she's telling the story, as she tells the story of how Zolgoth stole the papyrus scrolls from the museum, you suddenly look at each other as though you suddenly had the same thought. And Soma, I'm going to assume you actually brought the case file with you.
You know, sure, it's in my sleeves.
You brought the case file with you. You pull out the case file, and you're like looking through the locations of the murders that Crystal was able to note down in here, and you come across one of them, and you do a double take, because one of the murders was of a saber tooth. And I'm going to give you the name of this saber tooth. And it took place. Or at least the body was found, put up on kind of this sick display right outside the museum. And that is where I'm going to end this session. We'll be back in 2 weeks on November 2nd for part 2 of Dance with the Devil. And after this, we have 2 sessions left until the end of the season. 2 sessions left in the season.
Which is real good, because November 30th, I was going to be gone.
Well, you know. Cyber finally convinced me like 2 years ago that having the season finale in December was a bad idea, because everyone has plans during the holiday. Go figure.
Mine's actually for my birthday, because my birthday is December 2nd.
Oh, nice. Early happy birthday.
So we will be back for part 2 of Dance with the Devil on November 2nd. And we'll be back with the next session of Depthara Trench next week.
Where we shall talk to Skinny to get the Skinny.
Well,
Get the skinny from skinny.
you'll get the Skinny from Skinny on November 2nd. On October 24th, we'll be back for the next session of Terran Depthara Trench. We didn't have it this week because things came up, but we will be back for Terran
Because
Depthara
we all
Trench.
have lives.
Yep. We'll be back for the next session of Terran Depthara Trench next week, and we will see what becomes of our adventures at the bottom of the sea. So we have a lot of stuff coming up until the end of season 10. So keep an eye out. We will be back on October 24th for Terran Depthara Trench, and then another episode of Terran Depthara Trench on Halloween Day, and then November 2nd for part 2 of Dance with the Devil, where we will get the Skinny from Skinny. Lots going on. See everyone soon. Bye.
Have a
So,
good
funny
night.
thing, with that said, funny thing about this